Hello, everyone. I am Sarah Rainey, and I am not an attorney. I am a victim. I am the mother of Kelly Jean Rainey, who I lost to a drunk driver, or as the police officer said, a damn drunk driver, on January 25th, 2019. Now, Kelly had done the right thing. He was sleepy. He pulled over into a state-sanctioned rest area to rest. He was on his way to an interview for an emergency room physician. He had just graduated from Miami University Medical School. He had his beautiful dog, Marshall, with him, who is always with him, was his companion. He was looking forward to a beautiful future. He was engaged. He had a beautiful fiance, but that wasn't to be because of a drunk. Now, I have been fighting. It will be 6 years in January to get the man who killed my child in prison. Let me put this up right in front of you. Reality is, it is not like it is on TV. If you are looking at the recent political trials on TV, you will notice that it has been years since our past president was indicted. And he was just convicted. And he's still out. And he may not go to prison. Our justice system is not flawless. I have found the more that somebody does or has gotten away with, the more they can find, or their defense attorney can find loopholes to keep the trial never ending, and then after that, get them out. Well, we just have to be the squeaky wheel. And today, I want to talk about something. Now, I did get Dennis Abeda Jr. in jail. Now, I want to say this. You cannot mention his name or their name until they are convicted and in jail, or in this case, prison. Excuse me, not jail, prison. So, now you have them in prison. You want to keep them there because the defense attorney is going to try to get him out. And his mother's going to try to get him out. It's up to us to keep him in legally. So today I'm going to talk about how to write a parole protest letter. Okay. Now, parole protest letter concludes many things. And one of them happens to be victims' impact statements, which I will talk about later. But I do want to say that whenever when Dennis was transferred from the jail in Lubbock, Texas, to the prison in Lovelady, Texas, according to the DA, his victim impact statements were sent over with him and other documentation. The only problem is that at that time, or during that time, they had a prosecutor there that was not, shall we say, that he liked victims' rights, and he did not follow them. And unfortunately, some of my victim impact statements that were sent from his friends and from his fiance disappeared. So it's up to us to make sure that when parole comes up, that they have all these documentation. So again, today, how to write a parole protest letter. Now, a parole protest letter is a powerful way for victims, community members, or anyone interested in the case to share their concerns with the parole board. Now, this is one of the reasons why you have to do it early, because you have to go around and find these people. The goal is to show the board the potential impact of releasing the prisoner, focusing on safety concerns, the emotional and physical well-being of the victims, and the sense of justice within the community. Now, none of these guys are angels when they're finally convicted. They've done numerous things in the past. They have gotten probation, slaps on the hands. Their families have protected them. Loved ones have protected them. In Dennis's case, through my research, I found out that he had taken a baseball bat after somebody. He had beaten up a woman or slapped a woman in a restaurant and got 18 months anger management training. And he was also on probation, which that's another joke there. On probation, he was caught drinking and driving with an open container in a car. They're not angels when they finally end up in prison. They have gotten a lot of slaps on the hand. They know how to circumvent probation. Mine disappeared. He disappeared 6 months the first time and 3 months the second time. And he wasn't arrested for 10 months before that for other reasons, which I discussed in the previous alcohol or DNA and that in the past video. So it is important to understand, again, reality. Reality is not SUV. The reality is they get all the rights. The criminal gets all the rights. Not only do they get all the rights, they get it paid for if they don't have the money. Why don't they have the money? Well, they're out drinking and spending it on booze. So, this is our journey. And you have to decide whether or not you want to do this. Some people can't. Now, here's kind of like a guideline for an effective parole protest letter. The offender's name. Ensure that it is exactly the way it is on all legal documents. So as many felons might have the similar names. In some cases, the same name. Dennis Rodriguez Abeda Jr. There are a lot of Dennis Abedas in Lubbock, Texas. A lot of them. In fact, one of them, I believe, is an attorney. That is not the same one. Make sure it's spelled right. Now, there is a portal that you can get the name, you can get all this information on, which I have discussed in other videos. Now, there is a state identification number called an SID. Now, this unique number is given to people in jail. In prison, they get a different one. That is the SDCJ number. Okay? Now, the SID number, which is commonly called, is a way for prison workers to track the person's criminal history and jail time. and is supposed to ensure that all records of their crimes in the state are correctly linked and updated. I'm not even going to guarantee that one either, with all the problems that I went through. Now, the SDCJ number or equivalent. Now, that stands for the State's Department of Criminal Justice. Like in Texas, it's the TDCJ number in Texas Department of Criminal Justice. This is used in prison. This is their prison number. And it should be the same number the entire time he's in prison. And the way to make sure that you keep checking, which I will tell you later how to do that, to make sure this man is still in prison. Now, they're supposed to notify you if for some reason he gets out. But they don't always do that. And that's another story that I've covered in another video. Now, salutation, be very careful of this. In this day and age, well, let's face it, I get a little upset when somebody calls me Miss. I'm not a Miss. But it can offend me. Use respectful titles like esteemed members of the parole board or honorable parole board members. I don't think I have to explain why. Now, introduction. Start by introducing your state and stating the relationship to the victim. Something like, for example, my name is Sarah Rainey, and I am the bereaved mother of Dr. Kenley Jean Rainey, and I am here to express my strong opposition to parole. Dennis Rodriguez Abeda Jr. He was the responsible for the tragic death. And I think you can go on and on with that. Explain the tragic details that happened. Be explicit. In my case, Dennis was driving 136 miles per hour and hit a parked car. And Marshall, his beautiful dog, flew 500 feet. And I do have a picture of that. But be explicit. I have had some people that I know whose daughter, this is even hard for me to say, burned to death, burned alive in the car. I knew of another one where after the boyfriend had killed his girlfriend, she was lying in the mud, and he plopped her over, and I guess she had a necklace on with his ring, and he ripped it off. Another one, well, let's just say that she was decapitated. And in my case, I don't know. The car was so demolished, I was never able to view my son. So I have no idea what my son looked like. I do have an idea what the dog looked like. An autopsy, I got that picture. But I can't look at the other ones. But there was nothing left of the car. Be explicit, no matter how hard it is for you to say. Now, bring that victim to life. When you want to bring your loved one to life, share personal stories and details about the victim's life, achievements, and the kind of person they were. This is an example of what I put in. Now, Kenley was only 39 years old. A recent medical school graduate. Heading for emergency room position. He served in the military. Raised to ranks overnight. He was the youngest supervisor over 50 people for Santa Clara County 911 at 23 or 24. This is your time to say who your child was and what he's done. Now, Marshall was in that car too. Marshall was his loyal companion. And he flew 500 feet to his death too. Now, we want to go down to reasons for opposition. Okay, well, it's obvious what I said before. Explain why you believe the prisoner should not be released on parole. Again, discuss the crime, the impact on the victims and the families, the offender's behavior while incarcerated. That's a good one too. None of them are angels there either. And any concerns about potential risks to the society. And you know what really irks me? When they find God. Don't fall for that. Stress that. I also added in mine that his decision to drive under the influence at such a reckless speed, 136 miles per hour, has caused imaginable pain and loss. My son Kinley had just graduated and was attending an interview that could have shaped the future. Instead, his life and the life of his dog, Marshall, were cruelly taken. The impact, I am alone now. I am by myself. I have lost a son. The world has lost a future doctor and a beloved companion. This community lost a promising young professional who could have contributed significantly to public health. What is the guy or the woman who is in prison for killing somebody accomplished? Going to a bar and getting drunk. And believe me, it wasn't the first time. Request specific parole restrictions. To prevent further crimes, suggest measures like electronic monitoring devices, ankle bracelets. I have discussed these in the past, and believe it or not, well, you won't believe it when you find out how that works. We even pay for that. But like I said, that's in another video. Ankle bracelets, ignition, interlock devices, that's IIDs, and SCRAM, SCRAM devices, continuous remote alcohol monitors. Now, that's another story which I discussed in another video. All this is wonderful, but it does take somebody to monitor it and make sure that they do actually abide by this. Dennis Abeta Jr. knew how to circumvent all of it. And I would say that most criminals do. Because by the time they get in prison, they're educated. Or they have somebody in their family that helps them. Now here's kind of what I wrote. This is just an example. If despite our pleas, Dennis Abeta Jr. is considered for parole, I urge the board to impose strict conditions. He should be monitored with EMD to ensure he does not threaten others. And IID should be mandatory to prevent him from driving under the influence again. A SCRAM device should also require to be monitored his alcohol consumption continuously. Now, in Texas, they don't even take their driver's license away after they killed somebody. And like I said, for 10 months, he roamed as free as a breeze to do whatever he wanted to do. The laws are different in each state. Now, include victim impact statements. Well, like I said, I have discussed this in other videos. Go ahead and do it again. Send a packet in. Don't email it. You can email it in. Or, email it in. But I would send a packet with a tracking number to a certain person. That way, it won't disappear as quickly. Now, to do that, I would say contact the Victim Service Division for the necessary packet so that you're filling out what that particular state wants you to do, because they're all different. Now, here's another example. The impact of losing Kenley and Marshall has been devastating. I am haunted by the loss of every day. And the pain is something I will carry for the rest of my life. I now have a life sentence. Kenley's dreams were shattered and my future was irreparably altered. The emotional and financial toll has been immense. We urge the board to consider the profound impact of this decision. I'm still waiting for the insurance, the measly little bit of insurance that he has. It's not like it is on TV. You are alone in this, let me tell you. Either you make a decision to fight or you don't. That is entirely up to you. Now you want to, some of the things you might want to do. You might emphasize that I use the term John Doe, but should not be released. And his parole should be delayed as long as the law allows. Say that 20 times in there if you have to. Share your story and encourage others to share theirs to help victims navigate the legal system and advocate justice. This takes time because you have to do it up the right way. Stay involved and be persistent. Advocacy is crucial for ensuring that the legal system supports the victims and the families. Please, please share your stories. You can come on and do a video and I can put it on this YouTube channel. Although I do have, of course, restrictions on that. But please, please, take time and take things seriously and do them the right way. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I am living this horrible life sentence every day, and along with confusion and the crying, it is hard. It is hard. And in my situation, money's not the problem. But there are so many people out there that don't even have money to bury their child. And I do sympathize with that. But do stay involved. Be the squeaky wheel. Don't assume. Don't take advice off of somebody that has not been through this. In fact, I advise you to get an attorney, of course, a civil attorney. Mothers, I am the proud mother of Dr. Kenley Jean Rainey. Along with his faithful friend Marshall. They were killed together as they slept. Now, since there is so much involved in this, I will be writing this in the introduction on YouTube so that you do have a written record. Again, thank you. Thank you.